As you plan your online blended lesson or module, you're going to need to consider three things: the outcomes, the activities, and the assessments in that module. So in terms of outcomes, you're going to need to know what the desired outcomes are for your learning experience. You can decide which outcomes you want to focus on by going to uen.org/core, and here you can access the core curriculum outcomes for the state of Utah. And you'll select one that you think that you or your group want to focus on in terms of the lesson that you're going to create. The next thing you need to do is determine how you're going to measure whether students have achieved those outcomes. And you'll do this through your assessments, either quizzes or assignments that you create. So we have traditional kinds of assessments, which include things like exams, quizzes, written papers, graded worksheets, but you also have, can think about alternative assessments, video essays, posters, demonstrations, oral assessments. Those things are also possible. Another thing as you think about assessments is that assessments can be formative or summative. So formative are kind of informal diagnostic. They're intended to help the student learn where they're at, whereas summative usually is at the end of a unit or lesson to see exactly where they're at. So once you've determined your assessments, then you're going to develop activities to help the students acquire the skills that they will need and be assessed on. So in this class, we're going to focus on two different kinds of activities. One are content-driven activities, and the other are what we call community-driven activities. So content-driven activities are where the students primarily interacting with content, including videos, simulations, text, online content. Whereas the community-driven activities are students interacting with each other in small group discussions or interacting with you as the teacher. So just to overview, as you go through this lesson, you're going to identify your learning outcomes. You're going to find some online resources that you can use later on. And then in terms of assessments, you're going to develop a quiz, and then you're going to develop an assignment that students can do. In terms of activities, you're going to develop a content-driven activity and a community-driven activity. And then at the end, you'll finalize your lesson plan for the module that you create. And then as part of that, there'll be a rationale for why you made the choices that you made.